Hello John, you can see that we've had some success in the body removal, and there's the chassis. We've given it a very, very hard steam clean all over to sort of show us what's what, and I must admit, up to now I've only had the chance to have a very sort of cursory look around and see what's what. I'll give you a quick whiz round and show you what our findings are. I'll talk to you about the front suspension situation because a lot of it does look pretty good. You might want to leave the front end built up. We'll have a chin wag about that. There are some repairs that are needed around the front frame horns there. They're pretty bad. I'll order a new pair of inner frame horns and we'll have to repair the outers, but if you look you can see it's all bent and out of shape. There's a hole just starting here, so we'll deal with that. And all in there it's all kind of deteriorating. Same in here, and it's all starting to blow through just there. Do you know what? I had a 1980 or 81 in here a couple of months back, I guess, that I'd had a body off at one of our competitors in the south. I shan't mention who it was, but that had, not in this same area, but had similar problems where the metal had all blown apart and got rust and crap and God knows what else in there, and they'd just painted straight over it all and put the chassis back together and put the body back on. You can't believe, can you, that someone would do all this work and not deal with that. I showed the owner, God bloody hell, and he was mortified when he saw that. So not best pleased. 10 grand on a body off, and they just painted over the rust. Anyway, so other than those bits on the frame horns, it doesn't look that bad. There's a bit of manky welding which I'll show you in a second. We've got upper A-arm bushes. I think replacing those would be a waste of money, to be honest. I think maybe do the bottoms. There's some cracking on them, but they're really not bad. I mean, they would go again. New ones will crack in time. I think we might want to be replacing this A-arm though. That does look bent here. It's kinked here, and is at kind of the wrong angle. It's all skewed in. Same on this rear end. The arm is skewed in, and if you look at the relationship between this bolt, this washer, the arm and the frame, it's all kind of on the huh. So I think maybe another arm that side would be good, and that's the welding that's been done in the past. It's pretty sunny out here. I don't know how well this will show up. Let me get out of the way. That's the bit of welding. This is a fairly common place for it to break. That weld splits away from the frame, so we'll have to make sure that mount has been put back on in the right place, and we'll deal with that. Hence the bent A-arm, I would assume. We're also missing one of the big serrated washers off that bolt there, so we'll deal with that at the same time. Boot missing off the tie rod there, and the same on this side. It's all a bit manky. And I will just check that steering relay rod isn't bent. This main rod here, it looks a bit skew with, but it might just be my eyes. What else around the front? Nothing jumps out at the moment. We're peeling off the old brake lines at the minute. I think for the amount of effort everyone's going to on this now, a new set of brake lines would be in order, and a new set of fuel lines also. What else? I mean, there's nothing else that kind of jumps at you. It'll just be going through it as the car comes apart. Frame rails look in quite good shape. This at the rear end, this is the plate that's been put over the chassis, and I think there's a similar situation underneath. Yes, there is. So that will need dealing with. We've also got some more shoddy welding here. So that will need looking at, and in there you won't see it very much now, I don't think, but once the trailing arm is out you will. This metal is starting to split apart and spread apart here as well, so we've got some big trailing arm pocket issues to deal with. And there's also, no, that all seems okay. On this side then there's some more manky welding there. We'll need to grind all that out and find out what's what, and the same on this side. And I know when I looked inside the trailing arm pocket, all the metal is kind of split and there's holes in the rear cross member. This end rail has been plated, this end rail has had plates put over, so we'll grind all those off and have a good look in there and see what we've got. So there are going to be some fairly big issues to deal with here. We'll also, when we put this back together, these are the early trailing arm shims. We'll change those for the later ones, which make the wheel alignment a lot easier, and we'll drill a hole in the frame, where is it? It's sort of here, for the split pin, for a split pin to go through, but I'll show you that nearer the time. We've got one body mount on here which broke. We'll have to heat that up and get that out. We've got another one on that rear corner which we had to cut off with oxyacetylene, so we'll get that one out as well. We'll look at UJs when they come off. Would pay to take the back cover off the diff and put a new gasket and side yoke seals on there as well, I think. We've got a body mount on this rear here that's all opened out, so we'll need to deal with that. Same on this side. This one's all rotted out also, so we'll need to. I've got a plate we can insert in there. We'll cut this out, and I've got a square plate which we can weld in and then trim. So that will, you'll see the weld underneath, but you know, to look at that will look absolutely fine. I've got the fuel tank here. What else do I need to tell you? I think that's it. The job we're doing now. Oh yeah, there was one funny bolt holding the rear spring back on, so we'll deal with that as piece and part of this job. So they are. We'll carry on taking the chassis apart, and I'll do more for you as things move on and keep you up to speed.